When people lack awareness, others can use them for their own benefits. A lack of awareness does not protect us, it makes us vulnerable. So, today, in today's session, I'm going to reveal such hidden concept. And let me share my screen to you all. The invisible hand, propaganda. That's what we're going to discover through today's session. As I said earlier, I'm going to reveal one such hidden concept. And why this topic matters, I'll use a simple example which is familiar for all of us. Today, education has made many things overly complicated and hiding the simple truth. And I believe that this example will help us to see how propaganda works in real life. Employment. I believe everyone here knows about this concept, employment, right? From kindergarten to the university, education mostly prepare us for the jobs, right? But did you know over 60% of the world population above age 50 are employees? Employees basically trade their time, skills, energy for their income, right? Which we call as an active income. And also, right now, I believe all of us, we are going through kind of a global employment crisis. Governments everywhere face protest demanding jobs, right? In my country, that's what's happening. One vacancy can receive hundreds or thousands of applications. That's the current crisis we all are going through. Jobs are limited, but job seekers are also parallelly increasing. But the real question is, if jobs are limited, why does education still push everyone toward employment? People invest 10 to 15 years. Some of us invested more than that of our most valuable life period to get better education. This is a long-term investment. If it's a long-term investment, there must be an assurance that should provide a clear and reliable outcome. This contradiction raises an important question, right? What went wrong? That's what we're going to discuss today through this topic, propaganda. So, who controls the story you believe and what is propaganda? So, now I'm going to play a small video clip which is explaining about this concept, propaganda. So, I believe you're going to understand about what is propaganda through this short video clip.
Do you ever see things online that you instantly feel strongly about? You may have been influenced by propaganda. Propaganda is a tool people use to make you believe an idea, make you feel a certain way, or make you act in a certain way. Propaganda usually uses pictures, video, or words that play on your emotions. Often, the goal is to get you to react emotionally instead of logically or rationally. Let's look at reasons why propaganda might be used. People might use propaganda to convince others to support political or social causes. For example, trying to influence voter opinions about a political candidate. You might even see propaganda in advertising. A company typically makes you feel like you need a product, like you'll be in danger if you don't have it, for example. Or you'll feel left out since everybody else will have it. Sometimes propaganda can inspire positive emotions or persuade us to do helpful things too, though. Okay, now we know what propaganda is, but how do we spot it? Sometimes that can be difficult. Here are some tips. If there are facts or statistics, ask yourself, is there something being left out? Am I seeing these statistics because they support a certain argument? What's the full picture? Hate propaganda might be easier to spot. It might include mean or angry language, and that could lead to violence. Basically, it may encourage an us versus them mentality, trying to turn you against a group of people. Remember, propaganda usually tries to spark strong emotions in you, including fear, hate, or anger. So, before you comment, share, or believe a post online that might be propaganda, make sure to first stop and take a moment to think about it critically.
Alright, I believe you got the idea, right? Propaganda means manipulating people to believe or do something. Often it presents false or distorted information as the truth, right? It's widely used in politics, media, and marketing. So, again, how propaganda works, those with the power and the money use propaganda to control the society, right? And it influences what people believe is normal, true, and acceptable. So, propaganda persuades people to believe, buy, or obey. That's why they say wherever the power is, there's propaganda. So now you know awareness is essential. Otherwise, people are treated like robots. And why awareness is critical? This lack of awareness is not an excuse. Unaware people are easily used to build others' wealth and success. So, my question to you now is, are you someone who's in that category? Who's helping someone else to gain their success, build their wealth, just because you are not aware of it? So, the question is, since when was employment born? Was there a time that concept of working for money did not exist? So, for us to understand that, we need to dig the graveyard. We need to know the human history we barely know. So, thousands of years ago, people did not work for money, right? They were independent, they had their own freedom. There was a time before money defined worth and value was found in labor. Back then, survival was shared, peace was negotiated with bread, and a word given meant more than gold ever could. So, this time, everyone could live the life as they wished to live, and everyone produced something valuable for the society. And why people were free back then? Because no authority dictated when to wake up or to sleep. No system decided how to spend their day, no fixed schedule controlled their time. Work followed need and nature, not clocks. Survival was self directed, not supervised. Life was lived on human rhythm, not rules. So that's why those people were free. So that time, for everyone to produce a good or service, they use this system called barter system, where items like livestock, crops, and labor were directly traded starting around 6000 BC in Mesopotamia and spreading some other civilizations, evolving to include valuable commodities like salt and metal mainly. So back then, skills and also the knowledge were passed through family lines. They had farmers, carpenters, traders, merchants, and each mastered their craft. Every individual was effectively an entrepreneur. They had the time, they had the freedom, and also they had the creativity. So that time they worked only and only to meet their needs. So because of that reason, they had remaining time. They used this remaining time on art, science, literature, and spirituality. And also, they personally educated their children, passing down values and essential life skills. They invested time in travel, spirituality, and inner well being. They focused on innovating solutions to live with nature, not against it. Communities lived united as one without constant competition, like today. Life exists in balance, harmony, and nature. But suddenly, here comes their turning point, the Industrial Revolution in 18th century, monopoly and domination. I believe you got the perfect idea through the pictures, but let's talk a little bit about it more. In the late 18th century, the Industrial Revolutions changed everything. Manufacturing became centralized and monopolized. A few people controlled production, distribution, and profits. It was a thin layer of the society who did this. And large factories needed massive manpower. So, because of that, this thin layer of the society wanted more and more and more employees. At this moment, that thin layer of people who were controlling others got a bigger issue: how to convert the people to work for them, or how to get employees, how to get the labor required for their factories to run, to get their profits, to keep the power, to gain more and more and more wealth. These elites created a new belief system. That is how the birth of a new propaganda happened. This belief system promoted employment as just normal as it is today. But how did they do that? They did it through education mainly, and also media, and also they used the religion, and also politics. On the employment-based living, concept of work, concept of family, concept of money, concept of wealth, freedom, concept of life. But they didn't give the entire education. They got a limiting knowledge, limited education, because that education was designed to give people partial skills. So workers learn only one task, not the whole process. And this created a dependency on factories and employers. So people lost that ability they had before to produce independently. Now, let's see the life after 100 years of this system. What is the real definition of life today? Birth and death. In between, what's happening? That's what we call as the life. But is that the same life people had hundreds years ago? Let's see what's happening right now. Today, people spend 20 to 25 years preparing for jobs, right? And they work until 50 to 55 to 60 years old. After retirement, many become financially dependent. This has become the normal life cycle for 90 to 95% of people today. And now you know this is not how people lived their life for thousands of years ago. But the unfortunate thing is, most people don't realize what changed in the past 150 years. There's a person called Karl Marx once said, keep people from their history and they are easily controlled. This means that people without a connection to their past are more likely to manipulation and persuasion. Now we know today over 95% of world population are influenced by this propaganda. I believe right now this is the life you're creating for yourself. And maybe this is the exact life you're presenting to your kids right now. So, my request, stop giving other people the power to control your happiness, mind, and life. So, if you don't take control of yourself and your own life, someone else is bound to try. So, that's it? No. Suddenly, technology changes the game. As you know, technology in the past few years increased dramatically their productivity. So, companies are no longer need large human workforce like in the past. And this led to mass unemployment over the last 30 to 50 years. So as you can see, the original reason for unemployment is no longer exist. But for their safety, they never stopped changing the propaganda on the concept of employment. It still works through the same sources to control common men and women, making them believe in lies manufactured over 100 years ago. Even though the job disappeared, the belief in employment remained. Education still trains people for jobs that no longer exist. So what's happening? You must get good education in order for you to find a good job. Otherwise, you won't be able to earn enough money for you to survive or for your family to survive with you. And you won't be able to build your dream life. So, if you want to have a better life, if you want to have a better future, you must earn money. For that, you must find a good job. For that, you must get yourself well educated. This is the propaganda. And society is still continuing this outdated system. Employment as an obsolete concept. But the issue is, unemployment is not an accident, but it's still rising. So the real question is, why follow a system no longer works? Better education does not guarantee a better job anymore. Most traditional jobs are being replaced by technology, especially right now AI, artificial intelligence. So the only sustainable solution is humans must regain that independence. and learn beyond traditional education limits. Build multiple income sources and become an entrepreneur because the entrepreneurship is the human nature. There's one great entrepreneur called Muhammad Yunus once said, all humans are born entrepreneurs. Some get a chance to unleash that capacity, some never got the chance, never knew that he or she has that capacity. So, my final message for all of you is stop depending on governments or employers. Take control of time, income, and life. Spend more and more and more time with those who are already taken their freedom. And study history, learn continuously, and choose freedom again and again and again. And that is how we break free from propaganda. Thank you so much. See you next time.